This is Brighter Rays, and today we're looking at a study called Fear Not, for I Am With You, which is what God says to Isaac. And we're looking at verses 26 through 33 today. As Isaac is in Beersheba, Abimelech, Ahuzzath, and Phicol make a visit. Some people have said that Isaac's words here are harsh to them, but I think they're accurate. He says, "Why have you come to me, seeing that you hate me and have sent me away from you?" Isaac moves away from them, and after they showed aggression, Isaac has been trying to live at peace with them, right? What do they want? Like he kept moving away. He's like, okay, they bother me, I'll move. Bother me, you move. Bother me, I'll move. So, well, what do they say? And they say, well, we see plainly that the Lord has been with you. Yeah. They realize because of the blessings that Isaac has, that Isaac has a God, Yahweh, on his side. So instead of trying to fight Isaac and the Lord, they want to make peace. They say, "Do us no harm, just as we have not touched you." And here's the kicker, is what they say, "and have done to you nothing but good, and sent you away in peace." Now, is that true? Did they do nothing but good to him and send him away in peace? I guess, if you want to be like, Obi-Wan Kenobi and say, well, from a certain point of view, but no. They were chasing him off the land. His servants dug the well. Before they made a treaty, they made a covenant with Abraham's family and said, hey, we're good, we're going to have peace, we're going to live in peace, we're going to be friends. But when it came to Isaac, then they kept chasing him off the land and saying, well, that's our well. That's our water. So, and they sent him away in peace. They said, you have to go. You got to go, man. You can't stay here. So they didn't really send him away in peace. It sounds like they were like, oh, we love you. Like Isaac was choosing to leave. He didn't choose to leave. They chased him out. So, I think they're liars here. And so for Isaac to be like, what do you want? Leave me alone. What are you guys doing here? I think that's not harsh. That's just the reality of the situation that's going on. It's like, from their point of view, it's like, we did nothing but good, except envy you and hated you and really stole from you. Besides that, it's all been good. We've always treated you well. And we didn't chase you away. We sent you away in peace. This is typical of the world. They will buddy up with God's people when it suits their needs. If harassing God's people and stealing from them is advantageous, then that's what they do. But if it's more profitable to be at peace and flatter God's people, well, then that's their MO. The last line that they say is, "You are now the blessed of the Lord." And that's true. Abraham was blessed of the Lord, and now that privilege has passed on to Isaac. That must have been an encouragement to Isaac that God had caused these Philistines to recognize this. Since they came in peace, Isaac agrees to the treaty, like his father did, and the peace that Abraham had with the Philistines is restored finally to Isaac. Now, it doesn't make any sense. It's all their fault why there wasn't peace before. They took the actions against Isaac. Isaac was always trying to live peaceably. He was always trying to do what was right. They're the ones that made the aggression. They're the ones that first started off filling the wells. They're the ones that came and said, that's our well, and really stole from Isaac. They're the ones that kept doing this. And then they go to him and say, hey, you need to live with peace with us, because we're trying to live in peace with you. And no, you're not. No, you're not. You were not trying to live in peace with him. And Isaac was trying to live in peace. So it's kind of flipped up, upside down. Like, well, now you need to come to have peace with us. Like, well, that's what I've been trying to do all along. So anyway, Philistines kind of got it upside down. But Isaac's been trying to do what was right. Isaac lived out what Paul calls the church to do in Romans 12:18. If possible, as far as it depends on you, live peaceable with all. That's what he's trying to do, right? That is what he is trying to do, but they won't leave him alone. Now we get to verses 32 and 33. At the end of verse 25, we were told that Isaac's servants began to dig a well at Beersheba. This was a brand new well. Or was this a brand new well, or was this a redigging of Abraham's well? We're not told. But on that day, that Abimelech leaves the servants, and the servants found water on that day. So, that's that part of the story where Abimelech leaves. He takes his people after the treaty is signed, and now, as soon as they leave, it seems like the way the story is told, it's the servants come and they're like, "Hey, we found water." Yeah, we're not told whether it's an old well or if it's a new well, but they were digging something and they found water because they're at Beersheba. So was the well at Beersheba filled, or were they adding on? They're expanding again. We're not told, but they find water, and so Isaac sees that he is receiving the covenant. He's receiving. Isaac responds the same way that Abraham does. Isaac's response is to name the well of oath. Again, just like Abraham. So again, you have the honoring of his father, but also seeing the connection, seeing the blessing of God to his dad that is now on him. He's recognizing that the covenant blessings have been passed on to him and what's happening here. So Isaac sees that he's receiving the covenant, he's receiving the blessing of God that God gave to Abraham, his father. He has had this truth confirmed over him over and over again, and now, by naming the well in Beersheba, he's demonstrating to the world the truthfulness of God's word. He's saying, God has promised, God has told me this is what it's going to be. This is what he told my father Abraham, and this is the truth. This is happening. This is exactly what's going on. And so Beersheba stands as a testimony to the promises of God, to the truthfulness of his word, and to his faithfulness to Abraham, and then to his promise that the descendants of Abraham would receive these blessings. So that's what happened here. And so you got the people lying about him and telling him these stories, but then we see God coming through, being faithful, just like he said. Even though the situation is kind of turned upside down, what's good is called evil, evil is called good. Isaac's trying to do his best to live peaceably. And Isaac really is rewarded for that. So come back next time and we'll kind of finish up this chapter and see some negative things that happen in Isaac's life.